Welcome, everybody. My name is Lisa Jordan. I'm the Managing Director of the IEA. Thank you for joining us on our monthly webinar series. Just a reminder, these webinars are free for you to attend and free for you to host as a member of an executive association that's part of the IEA. This is one of your great membership benefits. So if you have a topic that would be of interest to business owners across the US and Canada, I will put my information up in the chat. Please reach out to me and we would love to get you scheduled for hosting an upcoming webinar. Before I introduce our speaker for the month, Mr. Tim DeMoth, I would like to put in a quick plug for the IEA conference. This year, the IEA board is hosting the annual conference in beautiful Las Vegas, September 24th through 26th. Just anyone want to chime in? Anyone signed up to join us at the conference? I know Dale, Cindy, Lisa, anyone else on the call thinking about coming to the conference? We'd love to have you. It's about 2 days worth of content total. It starts Tuesday evening with a cocktail reception. Conference is all day Wednesday and then a half day Thursday. We're taking a private tour of the Mob Museum on Wednesday night. We kind of have an old Vegas mob theme going with the conference, and we're bringing in some phenomenal keynote speakers that I think are really interesting and a lot of exciting topics. I'll also post a link in the chat to our conference page so that you can see what speakers we have. And it's not too late to join us. We would love to have you at the conference. And if it's something you're really thinking about, certainly shoot me a message and let me know. I have a top secret early bird code that I'd be glad to share with you to get you an additional $75 off your registration. So just a perk of joining us on the webinar today. Okay, now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Tim DeMoth. Tim is a multi-certified, award-winning, internationally recognized security and HR management consultant, speaker, author, media commentator, and an expert witness. He's president and founder of Sachs Consulting and Investigative Services, a high-risk HR and security consulting and investigation firm located in Akron, Ohio. Shout out to the Akron execs for bringing Tim on board for us today. He is the author of Life Rage and training programs on workplace violence, active shooter, sexual harassment, and self-defense. He has provided commentary for newspapers, magazines, TV, radio, internet, and print media worldwide. Tim serves as an expert witness throughout the United States. He holds a BS in sociology with an emphasis in criminology from Denison University. And with that, Tim, please take it away. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and thanks for everybody for taking the time out in our busy days. Also, I want to mention, because much of this information, or some of it, comes from another book I wrote called The You in Business. And the reason for the title, The You in Business, is because I think we all realize it comes down to each of us. It comes down to you and how you grow your business and what you do to make that business successful. With today's complicated world and high-tech type of world and business environment, I think we make a couple misconceptions or mistakes, or we get caught up in it. And I'm going to mention a few of those. And I also would ask anybody to comment. And I live by one rule: let's agree. It's okay to disagree, because by disagreeing sensibly, I can learn, you can learn. So I have no problem with anybody mentioning things or disagreeing or altering what I say, and ask questions during and at the end. We'll give you plenty of time. This is a great topic. I'm very interested in it. I've studied it, I've researched it, and I've actually conducted testing for it. You know, everything doesn't come down to technology, but we're starting to push that way too much, in my opinion. I still, and I'm sure everybody here, you still want that high touch. And that's what this talk is about. It's high touch, and it's not just high tech. And we need to understand that, you know, we can't forget about the high touch. And by that, I mean, today it amazes me that we all work very, very, very hard at being consumers. We work very, very, very hard at being a customer. Think about it when you were a kid. You could walk in a big box store. I felt much more appreciated as a customer. I felt much more that they wanted me there. They wanted me to spend money, engage them. And I just think many times, not all times, but we have to work very hard at being a customer and think about that statement. And it really is amazing at different places. Now, when you do experience a business, I'm talking, it can be a restaurant, it can be a service, it could be a professional service, it can be anything. Boy, when we experience a good customer service business, it doesn't matter where or how or what it is, we're almost sometimes shocked. We definitely tell our family and friends, and it just doesn't happen as much as it used to happen. And I got a story for you. Involves a trash can. I'm at home. I bought a heavy duty Galactica trash can that is supposed to withstand tornadoes, and it's made of high ballistic plastic, and it's strong, and you can beat on it with a sledgehammer. And so I have this new trash can, and I don't have it more than 2 weeks, and I go grab the handle to pull it, and the handle breaks on one side and comes apart from the trash can. And of course, since I just bought it, I spent big money on it. I decided this time I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm taking that trash can back. So, of course, being a male, I got to go into the house and announce that I'm going to take this trash can back to the store. And I announce it to my wife and my young son that was there. And my wife gives me that look like, oh boy, here we go. And I go, I'm throwing it in the van and I'm going there. And then I look at my son and I go, you know what? You're going with me. I'm going to show you how we rectify this. And my son says, Dad, I got lots of things to do. I got to do this. I got to do that. I said, no, you're coming with me. And my wife says, good luck. Off to the big box store we go. And I grab that trash can out of the back of my van and I'm dragging it across the parking lot. Boom, 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 across the parking lot. I'm like a linebacker just waiting to bust through the line. And I walk in to the big box store and I'm dragging this trash can. And I go up to the counter and my son's kind of lagging behind. He really doesn't want to be part of this, but I say, come on. And we get to the counter and I'm fired up. And I know what they're going to say. And you know what they're going to ask me for, which I don't have. And I get to the counter and the lady says, can I help you, sir? I said, well, you sure can. You can definitely help me. I just bought this trash can 2 weeks ago from your store and the handle broke. This thing is supposed to be indestructible and it broke. I've only had it 2 weeks. And then she hits me with the question, do you have your receipt? And I look at her and my son looks at me and he knows this isn't going to go well. Sir, do you have your receipt? And I look at her and I said, no, I don't. And she says, sir, stop. It's okay that you don't have your receipt. What I want you to do is go over there and pick any trash can out you want. Bring it back here. I'll put a little pink slip on it and you can even go out the exit door. We want you to be happy and we want you to come back. I looked at her and I said, I got my son with me. This isn't what I was anticipating. I really needed this to go in a different direction so I could show him how to handle these situations that happen all the time. But this lady knew how to handle me. And once again, I went back, went home, told my wife the story, who laughed. My son was relieved. But you know what? I went back to that store years and years and years and years because of how they handled me for a trash can. But you know what? That isn't usually how we get handled. But I thought it was funny because I was so prepared. I want you to understand something that was not common years ago. Today, the 555 rule. 50% of current businesses lose 50% of their clients every 5 years. Imagine this. 50% of businesses lose 50% of their clients every 5 years. 20 years ago, this was not a true factual understanding or trend. How much does it cost to get a new business customer? We all know it costs a load of money, time, and effort. And if we're losing businesses at this rate, this is a big reason many businesses are going out of business, because once you have that customer, it is more important to keep that customer happy, because happy customers come back, they don't go to anybody else, and they tell others. And we spend a lot of money, time, and effort today on getting new customers because we're losing our current customers way too fast. So, what are some of the solutions? And I point a few of these out in my book, The You in Business. Here's a number one rule. And once again, you do have to ask yourself, why are we losing customers at that rate? But here's the rule that you got to keep in mind. You have to figure out customers can forget about you. They're getting bombarded daily with all sorts of stimuli, advertising, marketing, social media, internet. Just, it's astronomical how much stimuli businesses, customers are getting per hour, per minute, per 5 minutes. Every day we're getting bombarded. And if you get buried and you're not doing anything to bring a memory to what you're doing, to make yourself stand out of sight is out of mind. And I know that I go back to customers that perform in a way that I don't forget about them. A great example is obviously restaurants. If you own a restaurant and you have great food and you have great service and you put that whole package together, you're not out of sight and you're not out of mind. You're the first or second thing people think of. Hey, honey, let's go out to eat. Oh, yeah, let's go back to that place that did this or did that. And we must understand out of sight, out of mind is not hard to happen because of media saturation. Every day we're exposed to hundreds, thousands of messages, and people want us to buy. They want us to react. They want us to do a lot. But guess what? Just 5 years ago, you were exposed to 500 messages a day. Today, it's at 3,000 messages a day. We are up from 500 a day to 3,000 stimuli messages a day. You're not going to remember except the exceptional ones that somehow catch your attention or provide you with exceptional service. You are up against a $600 billion market per year on all of this. So remember, you're competing with much more today than you ever have. And once again, you can't just exist. You got to find a way to stand out, you know. So, did you let your company services get lost in this daily barrage of what's going on? And it's not hard. Um, there's a lot of companies that have quit sending their people to networking events, to professional organizations. I can tell you right now, I'm in the service, security, investigation, human resource business. We still get a lot of business from going to a lot of chambers, professional organizations that are out there. IEA is a great example of a strong organization that does put you around the right people to help spread the word of what you do and to find out what others do. You cannot allow this to get lost in the shuffle. My company, we're all about high touch. Sachs was born with the premise of going out and making sure we maintain high touch. Every single one of my key people on a weekly basis attend different events, different professional organizations, because you got to plant the seed of who you are and what you do. And then you uniquely got to explain what you do and why you do it better than others. And I joke and people look at me, but they always say, Tim Demoff's all about meet people, meet people, meet people. And in today's high tech, I'm seeing so much more less people interaction, people connection, people networking, and it's killing businesses. It's people want to know what you do, but they want to know the people behind what you do because that's just as important. It can't be just high tech. You know, strategies. What's your strategy? Is everything a 16-page agreement, a document? I've decreased my written agreements, decreased the pages, and I'm even doing business still with handshake deals, verbal acknowledgments, phone calls. Yeah, we'll eventually get them an email and it'll say, here's what we're going to do. But I've backed away from a lot of written legal contracts unless it involves something where I need to do that. Because we found out you can write a contract all you want, doesn't matter. You can still end up in court disputing a 16-page contract. I'm not telling people not to have contracts and agreements. I like to do more of explaining in emails, written documents. Here's what we're going to do. And people calling me and emailing me back saying, let's do it. I got approval. And I can tell you, the majority of my agreements are simple written emails agreements, very few contractual. I've only been burned twice in about 15 years. I consider that a pretty good track record. And ironically, I got people who make comments about that. Now, I'm not saying be careless, but I'm saying that even though we get very strategic, we get very detailed in writing at times, and there's times in different services that you need to have a detailed written agreement or contract. So those need to happen, but it isn't everything that you do. And we need to understand, let's start out with simple stuff. Do what you say you're going to do. It is amazing to me how many people have called me and told me things they were going to do and they didn't come through. I've asked people to be speakers on other professional organizations that I have. I have a hard time getting them to send me their photo and bio. and a paragraph reference their presentation. I don't understand these simplistic requests. And people come to me and say, yeah, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, but they can't come up with written material that's simple to support who they are and what they've done. They can't even come up with a simple bio. And this is what I mean. This sloppiness is out there. This talk without backing. You've got to focus on exceeding client expectations. I always tell my people, deliver what we say and give them a little extra. And the other thing is, we don't